Hello and welcome again to Misano. I did the same as before. I wanted a track that I wasn't too familiar with yet, but enough that I can properly race on it, I hope. And the top one in the list ended up being Misano. Set out on my out lap and then started my first fast lap. I was here kind of stuck behind Van der Meijden almost, but then just as I was catching up, they had a big slide and then overcorrected and went off on the other side of the track, with me just narrowly avoiding them, just backing off just about enough to not crash into them, but also not to compromise my lap. It ended up being a not fantastic lap, but yeah, good enough for my purposes. 138.7, and it was still early in qualifying. Hadn't been much time to complete both the out lap and the first lap, so I immediately got P1 with that. I set out to do a better lap because I'm definitely capable of doing much better than that. And I improved by almost a second to 137.8. Pretty good. Then I came up behind this car here. They were taking a very weird line or just going very slow, so I have a big slide and I'm back behind them. I was hoping I didn't impede their lap, but as you can see, they're blinking. It was because their ping was so high. So I didn't mean to catch up with them like this again, but yeah, with the blinking and so on, I end up having to take big avoiding action and probably did impede them. So I put myself to the well of the racing line and I start typing my sorries and explain a bit that it was a ping. And then also giving them the chance to take more of the lead so I can do another good lap. So that was this one. And I end up putting down a 137.2. So during the whole session, I was P1. And yeah, provisionally, of course, but then at the start of the race, I still kept that position. The second fastest guy was only 1/10 of a second behind me in qualifying, but then everybody else was way further back. And since these lobbies, they're 30 minutes, it's VooDoo Simracing lobbies. I'm pretty fond of them, just because they are 30 minutes. They're the longest races I encounter in these public lobbies. So I was happy to start from the back then and try and get a good amount of overtakes in, hopefully. And with the 30 minutes, the nice thing about it is that there is time to move up to your proper place based on your pace. So there was already a bit of chaos on the start, but now cars are starting to find their slots, and I'm just keeping it very safe for the time being, not trying to make any moves yet, because everybody is so bunched up. Even if I pass the car in front of me, it will be hard to slot in between them and then the next one up. There's still a car close behind me, so I have to watch out a bit for them. The purple car here brakes super early, so I have to take avoiding action, and then on my left side is the other car behind the black one. I think that one's an Audi. Oh no, it's the Mercedes. Yeah. So yeah, I avoid them, but it's Kocaman or Kokaman, and Kokaman hits me. If you look at it in the replay, I brake kind of in sync with the cars in front, so I think it only makes sense there. But Kokaman doesn't and hits me, and the double tap kind of puts me again in the right direction, so that part was nice, and I can go on my way while they were spinning out on the grass. So I fell a bit back because of this, but then the cars in front are having their own fight, so allows me to start catching back up, hopefully. I believe this black car, the Audi, is Izvolev, so fully caught up with them now. They have a... I believe it's Crow, sorry. Yeah, they had a moment in the last corner of the lap, so I take a easy position there. And I believe I am now indeed P6, although the timing sheets in this one is fully messed up in the original recording. So it'll be easier to follow once we get to two more replays. So then I'm catching up again with the cars in front. I believe the blue and yellow one, yeah, that's Van der Meijden, who I almost hit in the first quali lap that I did. I'm catching up quite fast. I have a track limit there, but I don't gain time, so I just, since the out, out of bounds is still hard on surface, I just go with it and put my foot down to not fall behind too much again. I believe Van der Meijs is about to try and make a move here on the black car, who I believe to be Pro, or maybe Isvolev. We'll find out shortly. So this quarter, 12 is flat out, then 13 still flat out, but break right after. Don't hit the apex in 13, so you have a better line into 14. And coming at the end of the lap, I'm back at the tail end of this pack. Now Isvolev in front of me with Van der Meijs making a move there in the last quarter. So looking first to overtake Isvolev if I can. They have a pretty bad line into the first corner, so I am right up on them. I'm looking to make a move to the inside, but they come left quite early and they break a little early also. So I hit them. This hit is fully on me, even though their line and breaking point might be a bit unusual. It's nothing too irregular that I should have hit them. And, yeah. My bad. There we see it again, yeah, no question about it. I wasn't alongside at all when they started coming left. So but yeah, it is what it is. I am then fall back behind this car in front of us now. I think this is Crow in the purple. So I'll be trying to get an overtake on them. Isvolev has driven off in the distance because I made sure that I didn't move ahead of them because of hitting them.
Car on the right.
Yeah, sorry, not Crow. I'm a bit worried here because this is a heavy braking point and I've been tapped from behind several times on this track in these kind of heavy braking zones. So I keep it quite wide to try and let space for this car to move into if they were to brake too late. But nothing comes of it, so it's fine. Oh yeah, it is Crow, okay. But this is a similar spot. This is where Pinter first hit me in the 2 videos ago. And this Crow person does the same. So here if we see, so this corner is flat out and you just cut the apex a lot. Then the next one you start braking right after and Crow, well, they don't. They go super far off track themselves even though they already dumped a bunch of their speed into my car by hitting me. So I'm again behind Crow, unfortunately, and have some work to do to catch up with them even. So going for that now.
Yellow flag, be careful there.
We're now starting the 4th lap of the race, 3 completed, and my best time is a 1:45.6, so it's really bad. Looking to improve on that as well and just get a clean lap in somewhere. Yeah, I think the 1:45 was maybe the very first lap. But again, so Crow proves to be quite easy to catch up to. I'm getting pretty close on their tail. They do open up the gap a bit again on this straight, but it won't last. Heavy braking zone here, I think I approach it better than them. I believe the gap is a little bit close, but yeah, the timing sheets are so messed up that I have not much to go by. The nice thing is there's no one right behind me, so I feel confident to just hit my braking point and zone the way I wanted to. So yeah, much better corners than the previous lap, and I am working on that cleaner lap that I was hoping to attain. Same thing here, heavy braking zone right after the corner. Try to hit this apex, hit it nicely, speed up and then brake at the 50-meter marker. So with no one behind me and me being able to hit the corners the way I want, I am now very close to Crow again, so looking to make the overtake again and make it stick this time, hopefully. So they're going to the left, which makes sense, but they're sticking quite to the middle of the road, so there's a gap on the left. I try to go for it, but they block it off, and then they brake very early. So early that I managed to take avoiding action, so compromising my braking zone normally, but I still easily keep it neatly in the into T1. So here we saw that they brake right after the 100-meter marker, where normally the braking point is at the 50-meter marker or just before it. But yeah, not too much drama, I make it out safely. The only thing now is that, again, these heavy braking zones, I'm worried about them being quite close behind. Luckily, this one was pretty straightforward with the double right. And then there's a long straight section, and the next braking zone is also quite straightforward because it's just you stick to the right of the track, the outside. On entry, you brake hard, cut the apex, and then try to maximize the exit space on the outside again. It's none of these slight kink into a braking zone and so on, which seems to mess up a lot of people's perception of it. And by the time we do get to such a zone, which we're in now, Pro is far enough behind that it's not a worry anymore for me. So here, corner 12, cut the curb. Van der Meijs in front doesn't really. Then here, don't cut the curb, and Van der Meijs does. And then here, cut the curb again, and another hard braking zone. So these corners, I think I have the superior line compared to Van der Meijs. We see a car that was spun out there on the right, so easy pass. But anyway, so coming out of the last sector and at the end of the lap, I am now very close to Van der Meijs. I also have a better approach on this last corner, so I have overspeed. And I go for the move to the outside. They block it off, so I move to the inside, and they cut across again, so that's not on. I have a slight catch also. I managed very narrowly to avoid contact. But I feel like this overtake should have been done, or at least I should have given a fair chance at it, but they just were swerving on the straight to block it off. So here I managed to cut to the inside. I believe I had a very slight track limits, but no time gained. So given the behavior of Van der Meijs, the corners before, and especially on the straight, I just roll with it and I don't give the position back. So here they block off, that's fine. But then here they make a second blocking move and I think it's over the line. I was pretty happy with my catch on the slide, even though it didn't look too dramatic. It just wasn't that easy because I was also so close to Van der Meijs. So yeah, then coming up to this heavy braking zone, I just go to the inside, and it's not possible to tell, I think, from this camera angle, but I even had the track limit, so it was very narrow if I did. So yeah, like I said, just rolled with it, and they have a bit of a wobble on the exit there, so I get a slight gap straight away, which is nice and comforting. Here I think I overslow a bit, so they are quite close behind again, and now we come up to one of these tricky braking zones where there's the kink and you start braking right about that at the curb there, the middle of it, to make your move into the next corner. Luckily there's no drama there, but I am very worried about this Van der Meijs driving standards. So I feel they're quite close coming up to this next corner, and I'm looking in my mirrors. So far so good, but then I have a slide on the exit, and this puts me in a tough spot because I'm cutting off way too much of the next corner. So I'm deliberately leaving a lot of, or taking it very slow before going on track and letting them pass to make sure that I don't gain any time from this. Yeah, so here I'm back in control of the car, and I guess I can drive all the way to the left and go back to the track, but it doesn't make much sense. I think in real life you would do what I did and just, carry on. But the game has to, make a decision somehow, and I guess here it just disqualified me. And I kind of get it, but I was still a little miffed about it because I feel that I did what I needed to not gain time there. I didn't do this on purpose, to overtake people or just gain a bunch of time. So it is what it is. That lobby was out of the question then, since I was disqualified, and the next top lobby was Barcelona. I mean, the top lobby that wasn't Spa Monza or GP. That was Barcelona, and I rolled with it. And when I entered the lobby, it was just the end of qualifying, so no time to get even the outlap in, let alone a proper quali lap. I didn't mind it though because this is another one of those VooDoo Simracing lobbies, so meaning a 30-minute timer for the race. And I believe they are always limited to max 8 players, so there is enough time to really move up in the field. And so on the start, I immediately get a pass on the penultimate car, and then I have Melis in front. They do a blocking move to the right of the track. So I go on the outside into turn 1, then we bang a bit the sides. I'm pushed off track because of it, so I feel like I was far enough ahead already that I just stick with the move I made. So here the back through from Melis. They kind of block off the outside, so but then I move inside and they block that off as well. And then here I make my move on the outside into turn 1 again. A bit of contact there, I'm pushed wide, I'm already ahead. And I feel I did enough work to earn this move, so I just go with it. I close in very fast here on, I believe this is Cooper in the black and orange car. So I make a move on the left, and at the same time Melis was making a move on their right. And coming into the hairpin, or well, you know, the 180-degree turn with the big radius, Melis just rams me off track after doing the same to Cooper. So now I'm again behind Melis, who is behind Cooper. And then on this hairpin, they just drive them off the track. So the Melis driving standards are terrible. In the replay here, we can see this move reminded me a bit of Häkkinen doing an overtake on Schumacher, by Schumacher going on the left of Sonta and Häkkinen on the right, on the Kemmel straight. But the difference is that Häkkinen didn't then ram into both Sonta and Schumacher on the exit, so it's not entirely the same. And then yeah, here in the hairpin, okay, sure, Cooper was a bit slow through there, but Melis doesn't even go off the gas when they first spin them, and they just bump them to the side the second time to push through. So I wasn't involved in that, so I have no objections to taking the overtake on Cooper. I do feel bad and wonder what they're thinking about Melis though. Here, Melis has a pretty bad line, but I didn't trust them enough to dive to the inside, even though I could have probably, before the slide at least. So I decide to wait it out a bit. I kind of expect that they're just pretty bad drivers generally, so I'm hoping that the trash will take out itself by spinning somewhere. So my first thought is to just pressure. It's easy enough to stick very close behind. Yeah. So in front of us we do see another track skipping the chicane entirely. Might have cost them disqualification or so as well. I'm being a bit hampered by Melis here, but I let them take a small lead going into the last corner, so that if I have overspeed I can just come alongside. And then I do something very bad. I tried to pit maneuver, which I'm definitely not proud of. But I was just thinking, if I get the overtake on this car, they're just gonna try and ram me to the side again if they don't already do it during the overtake. But yeah, anyway, I suck at pit maneuvering, so it doesn't work out at all. But then into turn 1 we make contact and I catch the spin much better. And on pretty much any other driver, I wouldn't have done any of these actions, and I would have also given the position back had I done them by accident. But yeah, seeing their horrible driving standards on lap 1 already, I just want to move on and get to racing people that do it cleanly, instead of getting into a cat and mouse game with Melis. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm, like I said, not proud of it, but whatever. I'm now trying to catch up in front, so the car right in front is La Broca, and then in front of them is Rechlon, I believe. So I think, oh, actually, yeah, again the timing sheet is messed up, so it's very hard for me to tell who's who, but there's 3 cars in front, so I do think the P4 at least is correct. The red car was in fact La Broca, so I'm looking to make a move on them in the first place. And they go a bit deep here in the chicane. They're hampered on the exit then, and going into the last corner, and I managed to cut to the inside and I'm alongside on the main straight. They had more space on the exit, so they have a better, faster exit. But we just managed to stay alongside for the whole straight, basically. And then they brake a bit early, so I brake them, and the movie's done, basically. I can park it on the apex. And yeah, on the left we see another car spinning out. I don't remember who that was, but I was indeed P4, and just in the space of a couple corners, I managed to get P2 from there. So here again, they missed the apex. I managed to go there, but then I have less space on the exit, so it kind of equalizes because of it the exit speed. Maybe their car is just slightly faster on the straight, so they pull ahead very slightly, but not nearly enough to to cut me off. And then in the braking zone, I just get the job done. I'm ahead, a bit slower here through these apexes, but there's no space to go around me, so that's P2 for me. Oh yeah, and the driver that spun off was at this character capital Phi, but they're not a factor anymore in the rest of the race. Here I see in my rear view mirror that La Broca goes off track. So now I'm just looking to catch Rechlon in front. I'm still looking a bit in my mirrors how far behind they are, and it ends up with me here going off track for just a moment. I think I got a track limit there, so yeah, I haven't put in a clean lap this race yet, and this one won't be it either. But at least my last lap was a 1:52, so I'm looking to improve on that while catching up to Rechlon. So go into sector 3, no dramatics, a pretty good cut on the hairpin there, and then maybe a bit slow on the exit, but nothing too bad. In general, I am feeling somewhat confident on this track, even though it's been several weeks. I drove it enough that I feel like I can take good enough lines in this beginner lobby to catch up comfortably. And yeah, I'm already driven to P2 so far and catching up with P1. So it does look like I'm the class of the field, basically. I'm definitely thinking about a race win here. That should be my ambition, and that's what I'm going for. As mentioned, I had track limits on that previous one when I was looking in my mirrors for what La Broca was still doing or how far behind they were. So even though I have a 150.6, it doesn't count as my best lap or as my delta from then on. So hoping to get a clean lap on this one, get a benchmark that I can drive against. I think my personal best here was high of 146 if I remember well, but it's been, like I said, a few weeks. So I'm not expecting to hit that, I'm just hoping to get to the 147s and somewhat consistently, or at least low 148s. Doesn't look like that will happen on this lap though, because I'm now fully caught up to Rechlon. Especially here I have a better couple of quarters, so I'm right behind them. They brake a little early coming up into this one, so I in response brake a bit harder. We see this back marker spinning off there, don't really care about them. But yeah, so broke a bit harder, and then I managed to get down the throttle earlier than them, so I have a better exit. Overspeed coming into the hairpin, pull alongside, and just keep it clean on the inside, and they stick to the outside very nicely. So clean overtake. Again here afterwards, I'm far enough ahead that I can cut back in front of them, and even though my next couple of corners I didn't have a very good line into them, I can just park it on the apex and they can't overtake. So yeah, here good overspeed, pull up nicely alongside. Do a bit more work on the brakes, but the job's not done yet. We both get a good amount of space, and then here I pulled narrowly ahead so I can, on this corner now, cut in front of them and block off any re-overtake. So now just navigating the chicane, and then the final corner of the track goes pretty smoothly. No track limit, so I'm gonna get my benchmark here. And my first properly timed lap is a 149.9. So definitely not very fast for me, but given that there's an overtaking there, I was pretty happy with it. The very next lap, I managed a 149.4, so a small improvement, and the previous one was a purple lap, and so is that one. So yeah, as I said, class of the field. Skipping again to the next lap, I improve again by almost a full second. So new purple lap, 148.5. I just keep chaining them basically. The next lap again, I improve on my delta. I get a 148.1. So with this pace, I'm already pretty happy. And I'm just driving away in P1 into the sunset. So my goal for the race win was very, very appropriate, I guess. Then the very next lap again, 147.9. I'm definitely happy with that. But then I start hitting traffic. So here I see, was this Cooper? I guess it was Cooper who Melis took out earlier. Coming up behind, I have to catch a slide here. It cost me lap time already. So I'm about almost a second and a half down on my delta. And then they're waving me through, but it's not super obvious to me. They might just not be approaching this corner very well. So I played safe and take it slow. But yeah, then when it's clear that they are indeed waving me through, I just go through it and start driving away from them. But yeah, definitely no purple lap there. And the next one, I'm down on my delta as well, coming into the third sector. But then I hear my son starting to cry. This is at night when he should be solidly asleep. But he woke up, unfortunately, and I have to attend to it. So I park up the car here, move to the pits, and then I have to go take care of him. And unfortunately, that was the end of that race as well. So 2 races where I felt I could have... Yeah, the second one for sure could have won. The first one at least moved up a lot through the field. But unfortunately, both end in a bit of heartbreak. And that was it for the night. But yeah, I was pretty happy with that. The last one especially, I counted as an honorary win. So yeah, thank you for watching and catch you on the next one.